Okay, just going to work through a tricky section on this project, which is the rib. Now, the first suggestion I would have for you is if you've gotten to this stage, it's probably good to make this now into a group. So we'll select it, right click on it, make group. Okay, now we're not going to edit this because what we'll do is the rib we will make separately and then we'll merge it in to this model. Okay, so what we really need to do, the tricky part with the rib is getting this radius right at the top here, and Khan did a very good job of creating some geometry, and he really came up with the idea for the solution for this. So what we really have to do is we have to think about this in a geometric way and construct some geometry that's going to help to guide us to complete this part. So the first thing I'll do, I'm just going to orbit round to the front, and I'm going to come in really close to the bottom of this circle, and I'm going to use my tape measure, and I'm going to click on, now you probably already know this, but basically in SketchUp, anything that looks round is actually really round, and it's just made up of small straight segments. So I'm going to pick the intersection between these segments, the two that are there's this bottom point here, but I'm going to pick this one here, and I'm going to go across and create a guideline there. And this is what I'm going to draw my rib up to so that it intersects with this circle. Now, it's not, it's not perfect, but for the purposes of what we're going to do, it's close enough. Like we're well within millimeter tolerances here. And what we're trying to do is, it's not about creating the perfect SketchUp model. It's about creating a drawing of a component that communicates information to somebody else who might need to make that component. That's what this is all about. Okay, so I've got that little guide in there, and I'm just going to orbit round again. Actually, no, what I've got to do, I've got to work out where my rib is going to be. So my rib is 5 millimeters wide. So if this point, so I'll just select, if this point here is going to be the center, then the rib itself is going to be 2.5 millimeters either side of that. So I need to set up a vertical guide. So set up my tape measure again, and yeah, I'll go up to the center of the circle because that's a good center. There we go. So there's my center. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go 2.5 millimeters off from there on that side, and 2.5. Okay, perfect. So that gives me the width of my rib. Now I'm going to come round to the side here. So the next thing I need to do is set up my arc, and I'm going to use the arc tool. But before I do that, I need a starting point for that arc. Now it's a radius of 5. So I'm going to zoom right in here. So this is one top corner of my rib, and I'm going to click on that intersection, and I'm going to go out along the red axis, and I'm going to go 5. So that is going to give me a starting point for my arc. So now I'm going to select arc, make sure it's green. I'm going to click on the guide point here. I'm going to go, and again, I'll zoom right in so I can make sure I get on exactly the bit I want, intersection. I'm going to come down, and I'm just going to type in, see down the bottom there it says angle 9.2. I'm just going to type in angle 90. There we go. And I'll zoom back out now. All right. So we've got this is only guiding geometry. So some of this will be deleted when we're finished. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start setting up the drawing of my rib. So there's the midpoint. So I'm going to come out here, 2.5. It's going to let me. No, it's not. Midpoint. Oh, I'll come round. This can be a bit difficult. All right, there's always another way to do this. What I'll do is I'll go in 15, and then from that I'll go 2.5, and there 2.5. All right, so that's that. I'll now just pan around a bit. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to start from this point here, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to basically draw it until it intersects with this arc. Now, I want to zoom in really closely because see how it's locking onto the midpoint there, but it's causing, there's this sort of doubling up of geometry. What I want to do is find one of these segments in the line that's as close to that point, and it's this one here. That will give us the best result. I'm going to click on that. Okay, so what that means now is this part here we don't need anymore, so we're going to erase that. And there we go, did that nice and neat. Okay, so we've actually almost got the hard part of our rib done. So the next thing we need to do, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a measurement from this point here back to that wall there. So I'm just going to go T. I should be able to work it out off the drawing actually. That will be, if it's 48, it's 48 minus 5, so that'll be 43. All right, so it's probably going to be easier now if we select our group and we hide it. Okay, because it's just going to confuse us now. I'm just going to now draw a line that is 43 millimeters along the red axis. 43. I'm going to draw another line that just basically goes straight up on the blue axis. And then here, from the top of our arc, I'm going to draw another line on the red axis until it meets that line. And that extra bit, I'm just going to erase that, get rid of that. And now I'm just going to push this 5 millimeters. That's the thickness of it. And then it might be best if I just then make this a group. And then I will come up here to edit and unhide all. There we go. And I'll just click there and I'm going to delete all my guides. Okay, let's have a look around and just see how that looks. We've got a little bit of a funny extra line there. I'm not sure, I don't think we can really delete that. We'll leave that. You do, you know, depending on what techniques you use, you get these little issues, but then they're not really critical for what we're doing. So that's how we make the rib. Obviously, there's a few other little bits and pieces to be done down here. But there you go. That sort of solved that difficult problem.